Hello and welcome, and in today's video we are doing a boat review. Okay, all seriousness, I'm gonna try and keep my slander to the minimum. We are going over a Plymouth Superbird. Now I know this car is iconic, but regardless, I'm gonna tell it how it is. Now the car for its time was honestly groundbreaking, but its noticeable feature was the aero cone on the front and the massive rear wing. Now this was to keep the car planted to the ground in NASCAR events because it was able to do over 200 miles per hour. Back in the day, I mean even by today's standards, that's quite incredible. Now before we go too deep into this video, I'm just gonna say I'm not really a muscle car guy and I don't know every fact about the Plymouth Superbird, so if there is anything interesting that I have missed out on, feel free to leave in the comments. Now, how this car feels in game. The car feels extremely underpowered and the car doesn't turn. It understeers every corner and then it just adds a dash of oversteer now and then. So it is quite underwhelming of a vehicle to drive. But all of that can change because this car can be engine swapped. Yes, the Plymouth Superbird can be engine swapped with the engine from the Dodge Hellcat. So yes, with the Hellcat motor fully upgraded, we are looking at around 900 plus brake horsepower. So adding that to a classic muscle car, that can only mean one thing: absolute mayhem. But one thing I must say, it sounds incredible. Now the car is basically uncontrollable with this much horsepower. So to have 900 horsepower in a car that can't handle it, can censor rear wheels, leads to some chaotic moments. But one thing I must say about this vehicle, if you would attempt to drive it without traction control, you are just setting yourself up for failure. I mean look, coming down the straightaway here, about to go over the hill, the car's rear end broke loose because of how much power the car has, and with the boost from the supercharger kicking in, it breaks traction. So yes, it is a bit of a hair-raising experience. But you might be saying to yourself, but this is because you are driving with no traction on. Even with traction control applied, the car still breaks traction. And I have some of the grippiest tires that you can have in the game. And this car is too powerful and breaks traction regardless of its situation. So it is a bit of a nightmare to handle. And I've tried many different methods of tuning this vehicle and I just simply cannot get it right. Maybe that's my own personal skill, but I haven't found a tune that anyone's done for this vehicle. That's either because no one's done this engine swap or no one can get a good tune for this vehicle. Now let's say you don't need the aero cone and the massive wing, but you still want an American car that's engine swap, and particularly has the Hellcat engine swap. Well, you're in luck because there's a 1970 Dodge Challenger. This car offers the same amount of power that you can get in the Superbird, but in a more controllable package. Okay, I may have exaggerated how controllable it actually is, but if you are gonna use a car like this with zero traction control, you shouldn't expect the car to be controllable. It's gonna be like wrestling a bull, and if you aren't careful, you're gonna get the horns. Now you can actually see that because coming around the first turn, we see, okay, the car has a bit of understeer, but that's common for a lot of American vehicles, Japanese vehicles. So I'm not just attacking American cars, but when I say I'm coming full flat out and you can see the car is slightly breaking traction, and then boom, I got the horns. So yes, I am saying that it is easier to control than the Superbird, but the difference is in night and day. You still have the chance to spin out, lose traction, and just enjoy all the things that this engine swap brings. Now, the difference is This car, if you needed to go straight, if you needed to go around a corner, it can. Even with no traction control on, if you do throttle control, even in the Superbird, if you half throttle around a corner, the rear wheels are still gonna light up. The car is still gonna try and go sideways. Whereas with this, if you're brave enough, you can actually take some turns at full throttle. Now, for me, I rather take this Challenger over the Superbird because I know I'm gonna make it around the circuit faster in this than the Superbird, and I'm gonna have more fun doing it because yes, I like my car to be slightly out of control, but at the end of the day, I still need to be able to manage it and keep it in line. Whereas the Superbird, it's on its own story. It has its own plan of how it's getting around the circuit, and you just need to strap in for the ride. Now, if I find a better tune for the Superbird, maybe this whole story will change. But until then, that is my opinion on the Superbird. The engine swap is just too much for the poor bird to handle. Whereas the Challenger accepts the challenge and gets the job done. You see what I did there? Challenger, haha, please subscribe. Okay, now this is just my opinion, and you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but if you've tried these swaps out for yourself, let me know in the comments. So, with some testing, unofficial testing in fact, I saw that the Challenger was actually able to do a top speed of 373 kilometers per hour. I was only able to hit 371 in the Superbird. So it's quite interesting to see that there was actually a difference of, 2 kilometers per hour. But in the long run, that 2 kilometers is actually a big difference. Now, I would tell you about the quarter mile times, but I honestly think they invalidate, because it's all up to how well was I able to throttle control these vehicles. And yes, the Challenger is easier to throttle control. As I said, the Superbird just lights up its rear wheels regardless of the gear you're in. The Superbird will smoke up those rear tires. So, if you want to experience the Hellcat engine swap, I suggest putting it into the Dodge Challenger and not the Superbird. But if you want absolute chaos and you just want to have a blast and have basically no control over your car, then throw that Hellcat into the Superbird. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. And if you are looking for more, watch this video here. It's a good one. I enjoy making it, so you should enjoy watching it. Just try it out. Peace.